Hey there. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on content that dives deep into the fascinating world of psychology and mental health. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. All right, let's talk about something that might seem like just another weekend activity, but for some people, it becomes an all-consuming obsession: gambling. Now, you might be thinking, sure, gambling can be risky, but how bad can it really get? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the neurological basis of gambling addiction, a topic that reveals just how complex and dangerous this behavior can be. Let's kick things off by talking about dopamine, the brain's very own feel-good chemical. You've probably heard of it, right? It's what gives us that rush of excitement or pleasure, whether we're biting into our favorite dessert or hearing our favorite song. But here's the twist: dopamine also plays a key role when it comes to gambling. Whenever someone places a bet or spins the reels on a slot machine, their brain releases dopamine. And that little hit of dopamine creates a sense of euphoria, almost like a mini celebration in the brain. Sounds good, right? Well, here's where things get tricky. The more a person gambles, the more their brain starts to crave that dopamine rush. Over time, they need to gamble more often or take bigger risks just to feel that same level of excitement. This is what we call tolerance. And it's a dangerous cycle, because now they're gambling more, risking more, and facing bigger consequences, all to chase that fleeting high. Now, let's move up to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that's like the CEO of decision-making. This area helps us weigh risks, control impulses, and make smart choices. But in someone with a gambling addiction, the prefrontal cortex isn't firing on all cylinders. Imagine this. Normally, if you're losing money at the casino, your brain sends out warning signals telling you, hey, maybe it's time to walk away. But in the brain of a gambling addict, those signals get lost in translation. This dysfunction leads to poor judgment, impulsive bets, and a relentless chase for that next win, even when the losses are piling up. In fact, studies from UCLA show that this dysfunction in the prefrontal cortex is a major reason why some people get hooked on gambling. Their brains are wired to chase short-term rewards, even if it means ignoring the long-term consequences. All right, so we've covered the brain chemistry and decision-making. Now let's talk about the psychological and behavioral side of things. Because gambling addiction isn't just a neurological issue, it's also deeply tied to the way we think and behave. First up, cognitive distortions. These are irrational thoughts that convince someone they're on the brink of a big win. Take the gambler's fallacy, for example, the belief that after a streak of losses, a win is bound to happen. But here's the truth. Each bet is independent, and the odds don't change just because you've been losing. Then there's the illusion of control, where gamblers believe they can somehow influence the outcome of a game of chance, whether through strategy, skill, or even superstitions. This illusion fuels more frequent and riskier bets. And let's not forget the near-miss effect. Ever notice how a near win, like getting two matching symbols on a slot machine and just missing the third, makes you want to keep playing? That's because your brain sees a near miss as almost winning, which tricks you into thinking you're close to hitting the jackpot. But in reality, it's just another loss. These cognitive distortions are powerful. They create a false sense of hope that keeps gamblers hooked, even when the odds are stacked against them. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Because the environment you're in and the people around you can also play a huge role in gambling addiction. One of the biggest factors? Accessibility. The easier it is to gamble, the more likely people are to do it. Living near a casino, or even just being a click away from an online betting site, can make it all too easy to get started. And before you know it, you're in deep. The rise of online gambling has made this even worse. With the internet, you can gamble anytime, anywhere, often without anyone knowing. This anonymity and convenience have made it easier than ever for gambling addiction to take root, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic when people were isolated and bored. During the pandemic, reports showed a sharp rise in online gambling, with many people turning to it as a way to cope with stress, isolation, and boredom. And unfortunately, this perfect storm led to an increase in gambling-related problems for many individuals. So, what have we learned today? Gambling addiction is more than just a bad habit. It's a complex issue that involves the brain's reward system, decision-making processes, and even the social and environmental context in which a person lives. If you found this video insightful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with anyone who might need to hear this, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button so you can join us for more deep dives into the world of psychology and mental health. Until next time, stay informed and take care of your mind.